Hey guys, thanks for joining to another episode of the shop. If you've been keeping up with us, the Camaro's out of the shop right now, and it will come back. But right now we're going to get to work on the 1500. So we're going to pull it back in here, and we got some projects to do on it. There's quite a few, so this is probably going to be a multi-episode video. And yeah, so let's get this in here and start this process. All right, and just like that, it's in here. Today, we're going to swap out some struts with lift blocks on them, or leveling blocks. And we're going to go from I think it's a 2-inch lift to a 3.5-inch lift. So, right down here, you can't really see. Flashlight. So right down here, if I can make that sit. Yep, nope. Yep, there you go. Okay. Well, right there is the lift block, and that's the strut. So I've got struts, so they're 3.5 inches tall and are taller than stock. And then these have a 2-inch block on them. I'm going to get rid of this, and it's going to raise it another 1.5 inches to kind of clear the back section back here where you can see right here it's rubbing on both sides, and I'm not enjoying that. So we're going to try and get rid of this rubbing, because I originally had 33s on here, and now I think these are 34 and a halves, something like that. They're a bit wider. It seems like, even though the 33s were 33 by 1250, these are 305 by 55 by 20. So I'm not sure. I'll have to look up the measurements. But yeah, they're rubbing, and the old 33 by 12 and a half weren't. But also, I guess it goes into the fact of what brand of tire and everything else. So we're gonna make this work. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna do it. And yeah, so that's what our first agenda on the 1500 is gonna be. And then we've got more. So stay tuned, and you will see what all we have in order to do. So this episode is just gonna be about clearance issues in the front and leveling it out a little bit. I'll show you the measurement of where it sits on flat ground right now. As you see, the front is a little bit lower than the back. So we're gonna try and level it out. Let me get some measurements for you, and we'll look at that. All right, so from flat ground all the way up to here, it's right at 40 inches. Well, to start out with, here's my struts from rough country. So I've got these, like I said, 3.5-inch lift on those. These are 3-inch lift blocks, but I need longer U-bolts to put them in. So that is not a project for today. They don't take long to put in. There's no real adjustment other than lifting the back axle, or the vehicle off the back axle, and then doing that. So we're not doing that today. All right, so we lifted the truck up. We've got a jack stand under here with the jack still under there. And now we're taking off the covers to the wheels, pop the wheel off, and then if it's a 4-wheel drive, you got to pop the axles out, and you got to pop the front or the upper control arm off. So much fun, but that's the only way you can get it done. The quickest way, at least, that I know of. So yeah, we're gonna hammer this out now. So fast forward. All right, looking down here, we're gonna check the brakes because we're down here, why not? And grease some fittings. This axle is broken off. I've got to order a new one because I just have that on here, just the outer hub. So I just need to order the shaft, the complete shaft again. We've got some new, what do you call these? Sway bar end links. So we're gonna put them in. They're from AC Delco. You'll see them in the description below, and you'll see how to do it. It's not difficult. It's pretty quick and simple. Did it on my 08. There's a video on it on my channel. So it takes 15 minutes. But we've got 2 bolts down here. Then we've got 3 bolts up here in the dark pit of nothingness. So we're gonna do that, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. Eventually I'm gonna get some new upper control arms and get rid of ball joint wear where it's at too much of an angle, so because they do end up wearing down very quickly whenever you lift them higher without having an adjustment. So alright, so the sway bar end links are a 15mm top and bottom. The strut bottom section is a 15mm, and the top is an 18. So we got all that done. Now I just got to pop this upper control arm off, and once I do that, everything should drop down pretty easy, and this should come out pretty easy as well. So we're going to do that and then measure everything up, see what it looks like, and then put the other struts in, so we don't have a block in there, we actually have a full strut. So let's do that. So you never want to run this nut all the way down on the upper control arm. This 18mm bolt, or this nut, holds this upper control arm on, and what you're going to do is you're going to loosen it up about ½ an inch away from the the spindle itself, and then you're going to take a ball peen hammer and hit the side of the spindle until the upper control arm lets go. So then it releases it, and then you take the nut all the way off. Otherwise, it will shoot off and can cause injury or break something else. So always be safe and always have that on. So let's take this off. Alright, so we're looking at this. First, we're going to measure from the base down to the bottom, which is 7 3/4 on the stock one, and it's 10 on this one. Alright, and then on top of that, this is a 1 3/4 inch block. So that's a 1 3/4 inch block on top of this, which is 8 inches. Okay, from top to bottom, this is right at 21 inches. From top to bottom on this one, it's a little over 22. So even though that this is apparently 2.5 inch lift, and this is going to be a 3.5 inch lift, yeah, it should work. It should clear a little bit better. But like I said, if it doesn't, we'll be going to a body lift. But this should be more comfortable than pushing these down further, because this is stock ride height for these springs, and it's just a lifted strut. So it just pushes everything up, rather than this compresses everything to make it fit in that area. So it gives a little bit stiffer ride. This gives a more comfortable ride. So let's pop these in real quick. Make sure you remove your hardware and replace it on the other side. I have one of these little nutsert kind of deals that's broken on one of them. So I found another one that I had that was a spare, and now they both go on, and once they both go on, then I can put it on. So while I was looking at the other struts, I saw that the orientation for how this one goes. So, we're gonna have the 2 flats right here, and then the one post, the stud coming out towards you. So that's how we're gonna do this. Got the little inserts on here, and now we're gonna just prop this into place and then start bolting it all in. Well, I decided to take off the brake caliper. It made it a little bit easier down here, right there, and as well as the ABS sensor, because it was just stretching too much. To get this in here, I have to line it up on here before it'll go up, and that's a pain in the butt. So that's what I'm fighting with right now, which should be a lot easier now that I don't have to worry about those cord's struggling. Alright, so now I'm going to clean a lot of this. Let me find a place to put this. There we go. A lot of this down here, which is all old grease from that CV boot blowing up. So, using some degreaser. This is super clean. I use it on everything. It's awesome. You should check it out. If you like clean stuff and getting grease off stuff, especially bearing grease, check them out. They're in the link in the description below. They'd really enjoy your purchase as well. But you'll enjoy it more than they will, because it does do a great job at cutting through grease and cleaning stuff. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lift the bottom arm up with a jack to get this in place to up here. Once it gets through here with the ball joint, we'll tighten it down a little bit and then we'll snug it up. This ball joint is getting worn, so we will be ordering some aftermarket ones very soon. Which isn't a bad upgrade considering it comes with a ball joint and it is made for a lift. It's just about the same amount of money for it as it is a new one from GM, so might as well replace it with something that is worth your while. Alright, so these are the AC Delco end links. They're pretty easy, pretty simple. All you got to do is just place a few of these in here and it takes the place of the old ones. So, let's see, we'll go through this. You start out like this, one little washer, one rubber, come through, drop your other one, put the other rubber on, put the other washer on, put this tube on, the spacer, shove it up a little bit more, and as you're going up, you're going to put another spacer, or another washer, your other rubber, you're going to stick it in place, keep going through, stick your other little rubber doojumahiki, make sure you shove it all through, put your other washer on top. Now you just gotta get all the way through. Alright, to make this a little bit easier, I had to put a clamp on here just to force it down a little bit. And now, I've got my wrench on it, my dac. Alright, well, we cleaned it up a little bit more up top. The aluminum arm, got aluminum bottom arm as well. Clean up the brake caliper a little bit and the sway bar, just brush over it. Put the new end links on, got the new / used strut from my last truck. Now, it's time to put the wheel on, drop it down. See the measurement on this side, which it should be about 41. I think the measurement before was 40. So that inch should help just a little bit. And I mean, as you see, the tire rubs all right there. The passenger side's worse. I do need alignment, and like I said, if it continues, I'm gonna get the 1 3/4 or whatever body lift, and that'll take care of all that. The struggle I'm gonna have with that is the bumpers, because I don't want to deal with them, but yeah, it's better than spending $1,000 on another lift and having to revamp everything, even though 35s would be nice. But like I said, this works. Let's see how this goes. Let's throw this wheel on, look at it, do the other side. And if your end links look like mine did, compared to this, where the rubber is all deteriorated completely, all the way gone, yeah, look in the description below and you can get you some AC Delcos. That's what I replaced on my 08 at one point, because the rubber was 100% shot, and they lasted for a good while. They're still going, because the person I sold the truck to is one of my good friends, and he drives that thing everywhere and it still has no issues. So check down there, you'll find everything you need. All right, so tape measure out. It's right up under 41. So it went up almost an inch. It'll settle a little bit more, but the ride quality is going to be better, and it is, I guess, about a 1/2 inch lift. I could go higher if I want, because I do have little blocks and everything else, but I like this lift because it is a more comfortable ride. Now, the rear, I'll have to see towards if it rubs anymore, and it probably will, but not as much. And yeah, I'll probably have to get a body lift, which is going to be a whole lot of fun, because you got front bumper, rear bumper, and then you got the whole body and the bed. It's not too bad. I've done it before. I've made my own before, back when I had a Nissan, and that was fun, easy, a good do-it-yourself project. So let me get this other side done, and we're going to call it a day for this. And eventually we're going to get some new whatchamacallit, U-bolts. We're gonna have some new U-bolts and do the rear and lift the rear up just a hair more, because I do like the stance of even, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then later on down the road, if I get bored with everything and I start driving another little gas maker, I will then probably lift this thing up and put it on 35s. But right now, no. I'm gonna do this real quick and we'll call it a day. And yeah, let me get done. All right, a little bit dirtier, a little bit sweatier, but it's done. And this side, even though I had the axle in it, went twice as fast as the other side. It always happens that way. Why? Because you figure out what you got to do on the first side, making all your mistakes. You go to the opposite side and you perfect it and you make it work. So we lifted another inch in the front, and now it's time to end this video and on to the next one. So if you like or need any of the things I used in the video, it's in the description below, which is the AC Delco sway bar ends and the rough country struts, which are 3.5 inches of lift compared to stock. So yeah, or 3 inches, I don't know, 3.5. They label it as 3.5. So that's how it is. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't rub back here like it has been. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of clean up, and then I got a little waxing to do right there from a little scratch that was there previously before I bought it. I want it off, I want it gone, and I'm gonna do a little maintenance, but you don't need to watch that because it's just pouring some windshield stuff in there, checking the oil to make sure it's okay and everything else. So if you like these kind of projects and everything else, get your project book. Yeah, it's in the link in the description too. It helps keep up with everything, dates and whatnot. So and it helps channel out. But if you like this kind of stuff and you like the info, or you just like the entertainment that half the time I'm struggling at what I'm doing and hurting myself, or you like Camaros or other things, boats, or any do-it-yourself project. So yeah, join me, subscribe, check it out. But again, thanks again for watching. Any comments, throw them down below. I answer just about every single comment anyway. So if you have a question, just throw it down below. I'll answer it. So, until next time.